Now, a little over a month ago, I decided to make a discussion video regarding my thoughts on the Universal Survival arc. And in that discussion video, I said this. Now, there is no real rules and details on what the tournament will be like yet, and if you can't find some, obviously put them in the comment section. But as of this video, I haven't seen any major rules. I'm hoping for this, and this is my big hope for this tournament. I hope this tournament is not a bracketed tournament like the Universe 6 and 7 tournament was. I actually hope that this is a survival tournament, and the reason that I say this, and what I mean by survival, they use the word survival arc instead of just saying tournament, and my curiosity was bubbling in my head a lot, and they said, why survival? I hope this is kind of like a Forest of Death deal on Naruto or something, or like I want to say like a last one standing battle royale type deal, where all of the members of each team are put in this giant world-like arena. Like the planet itself is an arena. I'm not talking about Shoppa's infamous planet with no name planet where there was one ring on that planet. I mean, the whole planet is the battleground. The entire planet. And all of the fighters need to go like grab, kind of like a Holy Grail deal. They need to grab a thing and claim it, or be the last fighter in that area to claim it. And if the last fighters are from that team, then they will win. I think it's safe to say I freaking called it. Hello everybody, Tyron the Guy 3 here. Welcome back to Dragon Ball Super Reviews. Today we'll be doing the review of episode 81. This episode is titled Crusher Bergamo versus Son Goku, who has sky high power. This episode was cool. It was all right. I mean, in terms of the best fight that's happened in this exhibition tournament, I'd have to give that to Gohan and Lavender. That was the best fight that happened in the entirety of this exhibition match. Well, obviously there's another fight now, but I'll go into that when I do the plot summary. So if you don't want spoilers, obviously avoid this review until you've watched the episode, then come back to watch my review so you can hear my thoughts. But anyway, this episode it got straight to the point, and that's pretty cool considering the fact that this is the pacing for Dragon Ball Super as of right now is pretty decent. The episode begins with Goku fighting Bergamo. Like, that's literally how we ended the last episode. This is how we start the first episode. The fight starts. But before the fight starts, there's some interesting things that take place. And by interesting, I mean Bergamo is taking the role of the Dragon Ball community recently in terms of Goku and his moral stature, which I'll make another video on it, but if you want the short clips version of that, long story short, I gotta say, this isn't really out of Goku's character, everything that's transpired so far. I mean, yeah, granted, Dragon Ball Super has made him a bit more one-track minded and less dimensional than he was in his Dragon Ball Z counterpart days. But this, like, at its core, this is still sort of who Goku is. I mean, this man let Vegeta live specifically because he wanted to keep fighting Vegeta as a rival. He did the same thing for Piccolo, too, at the end of Dragon Ball. This guy literally gave a senzu bean to Cell so it'd be a fair fight against Gohan. He risked his own life on planet Namek in order to fight off against Frieza. The only difference I say here is that Goku's never redeemed any of his actions in Dragon Ball Super when he's done something that everybody else thinks is irresponsible or just downright stupid. Like, and at least in Dragon Ball Z, when he gave Cell the senzu bean, he redeemed it by sacrificing himself in order to get rid of Cell as he was about to blow up. But anyway, in this one, Bergamo takes the role of the Dragon Ball community here by basically stating that Goku is evil. He's pointing out that Goku is a bad guy. He's a villain. He's the cause of all of this destruction for this potential destruction in the first place. Even though the writers tried to save this by saying that Zeno was going to destroy all of the most of the universes anyway because of their bad moral statures. So, I'm not sure what direction Super is headed. Does it want to give Goku the bad name or not? It's sort of just switching back and forth. I mean, but by giving Bergamo the role, I guess in terms what they're doing is that they're trying to personify all of the the finger pointing into one character, which is Bergamo. Bergamo even pleads with the rest of the gods and Zeno themselves, hey, if I win this, you can cancel out that whole destroy every universe deal. And the Zenos are like, yeah, we'll do it. But if Goku holds back in power, then that means we'll go ahead and blow up all the universes anyway. So when that ends up taking place, the fight starts, and Bergamo has the ability to absorb the impact blows of attacks in order to focus them into his body to make him bigger. So basically, the more you hit him, the bigger he gets. That's his ability. Which, in retrospect, sounds cool, but Goku easily finds the weakness to this. The bigger Bergamo gets, the more blind spots he gets, because Goku's so tiny now. It's almost like trying to fight a flea. It's hard, because it's bouncing around everywhere, and you're obviously not going to be able to track it on your own body. At this point, Goku goes overload mode and transforms into Super Saiyan Kaioken Blue. Or also, I just call it Kaioken Blue for short. I don't know why no one's even picked up that name yet. It sounds a lot easier to say. So I've heard some people call it Super Saiyan Blue plus Kaioken, or Kaioken times 10 Super Saiyan Blue. Just call it Kaioken Blue. We know what we mean. We know what it means. Kaioken Blue. Goku goes Kaioken Blue and blast Bergamo with a Super Kamehameha, while Bergamo tries to counter it with the Wolfgang Penetrator. The beam struggle happens, and Goku overpowers Bergamo and wins the fight, stating that he wants to fight Bergamo again next time, only with Bergamo not using the ability to absorb other people's power, because Goku wants to fight Bergamo using his own strength. Which, okay, cool. So when that ends up happening, Bergamo still goes on his whole "you're evil" spiel and almost goes nuts, and they have to basically drag him away after the fight. And when that ends up happening, we see that the tournament is actually going to reveal a bit more rules. So after this, the Grand Kaimo, the Daishinkan, he releases more of the rules, and the rules are basically the exact same as what I predicted in my discussion video. If you didn't see that skit, I just did it earlier. But yeah, in the discussion video, which I will put a link in the description, and I'll put an annotation on the flashback moment. But basically, it'll be an all-out battle royale. So it's not quite as extreme as I was thinking it would be, with like all of the universes in one go, but at least it's all 8 of the universes that are participating will be participating in the Dark Void, and they'll be participating on one arena, and the goal is to knock the opponent off of the arena. It's kind of like Super Smash Brothers in a sense, where it's not, oh, you knock them out, but you knock them off the arena, because Goku even says, what if they get knocked out? It's like, then drag them off. Like, you push them out of the arena at that point. They are done. The other rule is that it'll be 48 minutes. Now, I don't know why it's such a weird time frame. Because in 48 minutes, that means a lot of fights are going to be happening really fast, because that's 80 fighters essentially all beating the crap out of each other in rapid concession. Now, obviously, 10 people can survive in each one, and the last team standing is the winner. So it's not like what I said where it's like last one standing, but the last team standing. But I think in this situation, in classic anime fashion, I think there's going to be one fighter remaining. Like, I think it's safe to say that there'll probably just be like one, it'll be all down to 2 fighters, and then that'll be the deciding battle of the entire saga. But that's just me thinking ahead. Anyway, or something like a gag will happen where an epic fight will happen and both fighters get knocked out, and when they end up getting knocked out, there's still like one weakling left, and the fight is over. Kind of like Mr. Satan. This would actually be funny if Mr. Satan was in the tournament, and then all these fights went down, and Mr. Satan's the last one, because they did that gag before in the Dragon Ball Z and One Piece crossover, where Goku, Luffy, and Toriko, by the way, they were all fighting, and Mr. Satan was still in the ring when it all happened, so he ended up winning. So yeah, some ridiculous stuff like that. Also, if they get outside of the arena, flying is prohibited. That means they'll immediately sink down. Also, there's no weapons, and there's no killing, so I guess that means Hit can't fight at 100%. Sorry, bro. So that's kind of weird. But anyway, after that said, all is well and done until Toppo comes out of nowhere, and Toppo basically requests to fight Goku. because he is the leader of the Pride Troopers, and obviously if you've seen leaks already, you knew Toppo was under that clunk the whole time. So they didn't really do a good job hiding that either. But when Toppo challenges Goku to a fight, Goku's like, yeah, sure, I wasn't satisfied with the last fight, the episode ends. I gotta say, kind of strategic on Goku's part, and I do like the rule. I love the fact that everything is happening kind of the way I said it would happen, because at that point, one, it makes me a good prognosticator, geekdom's term. Two, it kind of, Gohan pointed it out in the episode. Gohan stated that strategy will be used in this tournament a lot now, because it is a team-up tournament now, instead of just a one-on-one brawl bracket every time. So it'll be more than just power. It'll be strategy. And the whole point is to knock the opponent off of the ring rather than to knock them out. Which I thought was kind of funny because both of the Zenos stated that a ring out was a very lame way for a fight to end. But then again, it's 80 fights happening at once this time. Plus they stated that the arena is going to be really huge. So it's going to be really cool to see how these fights take place. Now, obviously, there's probably going to be a lot of weakling fighters probably getting knocked around left and right. It's 80 fighters at once, so it won't surprise me if we get some, like, Resurrection F action where we see Tien, Piccolo, and them are just batting people around. But overall, I personally think the rule changes are cool because they're just the same thing I said already, and I'm glad I got what I hoped for. So that's one thing. The fight itself, it was okay. Goku used his brain a little bit more in this fight rather than his brawn, so it was kind of cool to see that. Other than that, episode was a pretty decent episode, and it's nice to see that plot change with Bergamo wanting to fight Goku. So we'll get an extra fight. Now, I know the next Dragon Ball Super episode won't happen next week. It'll actually happen the week afterwards. So I'll probably end up doing like a Dragon Ball discussion video to take its spot. So with that said, the next episode when we come back in 2 weeks will be episode 82. I won't forgive you, Son Goku, the warrior of justice Toppo burst in. See you all then, everybody. Tyrone the God 3 out.